Welcome back to the Wanks FPL podcast. We are back after the long, not so long, I feel like a much needed FA Cup, EFL Cup break. Gave us a little bit of time off, time to reflect, which definitely needed. But that being said, I'm pretty hyped to be back. Conehead, how about you?
I was going to say, you said pretty long. I was like, it certainly wasn't long enough. I could have used another week. It's been nice to dissociate, though, completely from this game because I was spending a little too much time in my head the last couple of weeks.
I knew that when you texted us like a day in or 2 days into the break, and you were like, "Fuck, my transfer plans are fucked because I missed out on all the price changes." So I was like, "Yeah, he's been cooking." Because the only one of us who, or like, of the three of us, who would be likely to be planning and checking price changes, least likely is you. So I knew when you were doing that, I was like, "We're in dire straits."
Yeah, it's been a bad week. It's fine.
Mac, how we doing?
I'm doing good. I'm hyped to be back. I didn't have the greatest game week before the break, but got a little space from the Prem, watched some Bundesliga, watched a little AFCON, got some enjoyment for the game back. So right. I'm hyped. I'm ready to be very unhyped again this weekend.
Got to watch some games without the pain that comes when you're like just sitting there watching a casual game and then see a notification for Igor Thiago scores third goal and is now
Semenyo gets his 50th season. He starts versus a City player.
I was so pissed in the midst of game week 21. What is it? Last week, getting a notification from some sports website being like, Igor Thiago sets a record for Brazilian striker in the Premier League, and I was like, I'm gonna kill myself.
Isn't that a little bit surprising though? Like,
yeah.
I would have thought there was a better Brazilian striker.
Yeah, I would have thought there was one on Tottenham. But
well, I mean, Richarlison is injured for half of every season, but I don't know. I just thought there really was going to be like a single season better Brazilian striker, considering just how good Brazil is.
For sure, you would think so. Maybe just not in the Prem, but anyway, Thiago, dude, I was thinking about that. Thiago, it pisses me off because it's not just us who offloaded him. A lot of people did. And I feel like the only reason you would have kept him, not the only reason, I suppose, but a big reason was probably that you just weren't able to get rid of him for one reason or another. You didn't want to take the extra hit, or you couldn't afford Ekitike or something, so you ended up keeping him. Because those couple games that we did have him and we were like, oh, we got to sell, it wasn't a misnomer. Like, it was analytics, eye test, actual returns, like all three things were telling you like this guy is not doing a damn thing.
He was so reliant. He was so reliant on those pens, and then all of a sudden he was like, "Just kidding, I can do it in open play too."
Right. All right, he got like 6 pens in the first 11 games of the season, and then goes off the back of 3 blanks, and then we sell him, and we're like idiots for doing that. Like, clearly my rank has reflected that I am an idiot, but like I was just like, come on, could not have gotten punished harder. He alone has cost me like 200k ranks in the past couple of game weeks.
Well, and now it's like, now we're in a situation where, okay, we've gone through the pain for so long, and his upcoming fixtures are Chelsea, Forest, Villa, Newcastle, and Arsenal. Mm-hmm. And Forest are the best one of those, but they've gotten even better defensively. So it's like,
I want to say one of the worst runs. I mean, it's terrible.
Yeah. But if you look at like their XG over the last, I think they're the top XG team over the last like 6 games. So they've just been doing really well attacking, and he's returned all year no matter who he's playing. So it makes, I want to be like, well, you probably don't have to buy him. But then we're going to see this weekend, it's going to be like 2 goals, 1 assist. Fuck.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't really
know. And they get one of their best midfielders back too, correct? So that could help them out a little
Dango
bit.
Ouattara, actually.
Dango Ouattara.
Yeah, so anyway, dire straits. At least the pain was shared. That's why this one's called Misery Loves Company, is because I felt like when it wasn't like one of us had Semenyo or one of us had Thiago, which has been the case most of the year. This time, none of us had that player. And then like we all got a little buoy by Bruno G, players like that we had in common. So at least that part was nice, but still an overall rough one. I can't remember Sharp, do you want to start us off then?
Oh, sure. I'd be honored. But maybe that's the problem. Maybe we got too similar. I started listening to you guys too much, and that's where we're now. Let's be honest.
You've never listened to us.
You've never listened to us once.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about.
No, let's be so for real. My problem has been benching over the last few weeks.
That's true. You've had like 40 points on your bench in the last couple weeks.
No, yeah. I think it was 15, 23, and 9, I think, over 3 of the last 4 weeks. So it's been brutal. And it's not like I can beat myself up over people that like I shouldn't have started. Like Harry Wilson would have been a fine play over a Barry or someone this week. And if I had done exactly that, that would have been the difference in me going down versus getting a green arrow. It's fine. I'm fine. I mean, looking at the team, like I did take a hit, unfortunately, to bring Royce in was one of those hits. The idea behind that is that I now have 2 goalies that I can actually switch in and out throughout the rest of the season and shouldn't have to touch that again. So in the long term, I still think that's fine. Just unfortunate. It technically cost me a point this week. Dallo, I mean, talk about disappointments. We brought him in for those 3 great games that United had, and like 2-2-1, I think is what he went, or 1-2-1, like just absolutely brutal. So that was a swing and a miss. He will not be seeing my team again, or at least be in the team. He will be sitting in that 3rd spot on the bench at best. Tark, I mean, he's still, even when they concede, he's still getting 4. I'm happy with him continually. Gahey and Gabriel played well. Bruno G, like you mentioned. Kind of wish Rice had done what he did the previous week when he dropped 17 and he was on my bench, but it's fine. You know, he kept Harry on the bench and only put up 3. So Holland returns. Yay, everyone did the exact same thing there. And I kind of wish Barry had done something this past week. I mean, I can't get too mad. He's actually returned more than he probably should have over the course of the time that I've had him. But when I look at this team, like, obviously Ruben's injured. That's a problem. Dallo, I view as a problem and liability to have on the team. Ekatike has Burnley this week, and then after that, I'm concerned. Barry is a play if he's playing the worst teams in the league, and that's about it. So I definitely have some problems that I need to address. I'm still okay with holding Saka, Rice, and Gabriel as my 3 Arsenal go forward, but that's kind of in a nutshell where all my thoughts are right now.
Yeah. I think the Ekatike one is the only one I'd push back on, where he has Bournemouth after this, and I'm definitely okay. You know, obviously assuming he doesn't, things go well this weekend, I'd be fine keeping him for 1 more.
Dude, it just hurts. It hurts enough to watch Liverpool as a fan right now, and the boring ass style that they've been playing and the lack of creativity they have. Like, I cannot be relying on my FPL team there too. I'd rather get hurt FPL wise and watch Ekatike score. That's fine.
Fair. Well, the good news is a striker has scored in the last 3 games against Burnley. I watched that Man U Burnley game last week. Sesko scored 2. He should have scored like fucking 5. Before that, they had Brighton, I want to say, and it was Jorginho, and then before that, it was Wissa with Newcastle. So in some order, those 3.
How many games in a row had Leeds conceded before we played them?
That's
all I got to say.
Fair enough. Vibes are high. All right, Mac, take us away.
I mean, fairly similar story here. I feel like we got a lot of the same players.
Yeah, wow.
So I took a hit this week, but that was probably the downfall. Like I think I was 6 points off my safety score inclusive of the hit. So I probably would have gotten like a small red had I not taken that hit. Just for reminder's sake, because it took me a minute to remember who I did. I went Raya out. Who did I go out for? I brought Gabriel in for somebody. Who knows? Oh, Dallo, which proved to be a good move because he got 1 point. And then I went Saka to Rice. So a lot of sideways moves at the cost of a hit, which I never expected to be like great for my rank. But just with Gabriel coming back and then immediately starting to score again, I was like, I kind of need to get on him. I probably want to solve that Dallo problem. And Pickford has become the highest scoring keeper in the game. So this lets me out of sort of the Raya. I'm not going to call it a trap because I've been very pro Raya since like Gameweek 6 when I brought him in on my Wildcard. But I think I wanted a little more flexibility in 2 defenders, and Arsenal is like the only now healthy defense that's like consistently doing well with, Newcastle kind of having injuries and falling apart. Crystal Palace is falling apart. So, I mean, they just got eliminated from the FA Cup to Maxfield or whatever. So it's just exactly what I said about at the beginning of the season, them having an incredibly thin squad, and the guys that they bring in as subs just aren't of good enough quality. And I don't think that Glasner rotates well. So I think that these guys are just coming in. They're coming in super cold, and you're just seeing the defense suffer. So it was very much like a bunch of sideways moves to free up a ton of cash. I think I'm sitting at 1.2 mil in the bank with 1 transfer this week. And my plan, I think, is to roll into 24 if possible. have 3 transfers, have 1.2 mil in the bank, and then really just do a big like shift once a lot of these fixtures change. So like not a great week, definitely lost some rank there, but I'm not, when I look at this team and some of the fixtures we have coming up, I'm not terribly unhappy with them. So it is what it is. I think the only disappointment was that, Everton didn't keep a clean sheet versus Wolves, but Wolves have kind of been making moves. So a little bit happy about that for them.
Yeah.
Dude, did you guys see that video on Twitter of the Macclesfield guy who's a teacher at the school and like the school doing a big announcement for him and all the kids going crazy? I thought that was pretty neat. I was a big fan.
That's some beautiful cup magic right there. That's why we love it.
See, and this is what I was paying attention to over our break.
We're going to gloss over the fact that FPL. We're going to gloss over the fact that Tottenham went out of the cup too. It doesn't need to be mentioned.
Dude, I was wishing we did against Barnsley. That would have been awesome.
Well, and then it's kind of double trouble for Crystal Palace. Like, not only are they getting thinner, but who knows if it'll actually happen, but it seems like there's a chance Gahey leaves as well in this transfer window. So
yeah,
that could be really fucking brutal for that team.
That would be crazy. I mean, they just, between their injuries and their already thin squad, they're in a lot of trouble if Gahey leaves. He's a great player. I understand them wanting to recoup some value, but God, for their sake, I really hope he doesn't. Let him go for free in the summer when you have enough time to bring in new signings, because that backline's decimated already.
But there are so many teams that could use him. Obviously, Sharp's been clamoring for Liverpool. They need him. City has lost like their entire defense. I think you could argue any team would take him, but definitely seems like there's some interest. So I shouldn't have gone last because I don't actually have the most points. I just didn't take a hit. But yeah, Mac, we both had Chow with 2 goals conceded and pulled off at halftime. So that's a negative points is like difficult to do.
Right off the back of his 17. Like that guy swings so far.
Dude, that's why I know he has the capacity to score from set pieces, but I'm not set on him. I've never been like, oh, he's a great asset. I've just been like happy to take my points and run because you just never know. The double clean sheet for Arsenal. Dorgu finally gets an assist, which came at the last minute. Needed something there, but I still don't think that justified that move on the whole. It's so rough, but that might be the difference between me having a red arrow. Actually, I had a small red, but basically a gray arrow. So that's probably the difference there. And then similar players: Rice, Foden, Bruno G. I had Cunha, blanks, awesome. And then Garner, boy, I don't even remember what he did. Definitely got DEFCONs, and then I don't know, something else, an assist or something. I actually don't know. Holland return, Bowen, kill myself. West Ham are just, you warned me a long time ago, Mac, and not that I didn't know it was true. I just chose to ignore it. West Ham are so poopy. So poopy.
Do we just think that they're 100% getting relegated at this point?
Easily have to. Yeah.
Yeah. I actually haven't looked at the table. I was surprised that they were as bad as they are.
Yeah.
When Nuno came in, I was like, he did a great job at Forest. And this is what I said when he left. I was like, Nuno had an amazing squad at Forest because Forest have so much money. But I thought that he'd at least like get some of that defensive solidity back into the West Ham team. But they play a 5-back and they still suck. Like, it's incredible how bad they are.
Yeah, it's wild. I still think Bowen is like, as an individual player, is still like a great player, but when you're on a team like this, it's
look, man, Operation Relegate West Ham, Spurs sign Bowen is still on. I've been saying it all summer. He's never going to come to us. He has way too much self-respect for that, but it's still on. He's a great player.
I don't know. He's been at West Ham this whole time. I don't know if his self-respect is off the charts.
I did actually read that. Well, he's a club man. You gotta respect somebody who stays true, right? Even if doesn't fit your narrative. I did read though that like West Ham has a lot of 50% contract reductions in their the player contracts if they get relegated, which is actually great for West Ham because then they won't be able to be forced to sell all their players because they can't afford the contracts. So that's interesting. You might not have to leave, but
oh boy, but like you think I don't know how that stuff works, but I just can't picture Jared Bowen in the Championship. I feel like there's no chance he would do that. Like potential England player in the Championship would be so brutal.
Yeah, I I guess I don't know. How old is Bowen these days, too? Is he like on the tail end of his career?
Let's see.
I don't think
He's
he's that
29.
old.
No, I mean, he could definitely move. I feel like he'd be like a Fulham guy or something like that, you know? Like,
What an awful move. Fucking West Ham to Fulham.
but those are like just the kind of moves that people make when they get relegated. Like, rarely do you see someone get relegated and go to like Manchester City, right?
Yeah. But our boy did go to Manchester City. Speaking of Antoine Semenyo.
He is not our boy.
Yeah.
He's so far from our boy. It's unbelievable.
He's the boy of the season, for sure.
He's the boy of the season.
And I had him for most of it. So I was really okay with him up until the last couple of weeks.
Well, it's just been annoying. Like, yeah, it's annoying. And the crazy thing is, it's been like, okay, now he's going to City, rotation, can't trust him. And then he's scoring for fun. So I'm like, oh, fuck.
Well, hold on. They put 10 goals in. Everyone was scoring for fun. I don't think that's a reflection of Semenyo's future. I think that was a reflection of how good they are and who they were playing.
I just don't like that room got that much more crowded either. Like, that's not fun. No, but Semenyo also scored in this in that EFL Cup semifinal. And he started on the right wing.
Yep.
Yeah, no, that was an interesting lineup.
The 4-1-4-1.
Manchester City is like a upside down pyramid these days with like nobody healthy at the back and then way too many people healthy at the top now because Semenyo's in and Doku's back and Marmouche is back and Cherky's back. So like they might just start putting goals like crazy. The problem is it's going to be the player you don't have doing it for the rest of the season.
Yeah, I don't know how they're going to obviously they're going to feel free to rotate players, but there's just too many mouths to feed. You got Reinders in there too. Like Foden, and now as Foden owners, I'm that much more uncertain of his minutes because he hasn't been returning, and Pep Roulette, and now they have 10 other options. Like, fuck.
It's objectively like the right thing to do to rotate, but from an FPL perspective, I'm like, fuck you, Pep. Stop that. Stop that. Like,
stop being smart.
Stop having world-class players in every position and managing their minutes like you're supposed to so they don't get injured.
Yeah.
Sick, dude.
Well, it shows up in the rank. Semenyo was a big reason for this. Thiago was obviously the other one, but this week, like, obviously we just went through our scores. I don't think on a normal week those scores are too bad. Like, they're fine. The problem is just that the high owned threats all returned. So really brutal stuff there. We all took at least some red arrow, which again, that's why I feel okay, is because I'm like, well, I lost, but you guys lost too. So it's okay. It's not like, it's not an island of sad, it's like it's a party
of sad.
Shittiest party I've ever been a part of.
Yeah, like a goth gathering or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's why it's hitting you guys harder, is because you have higher expectations for yourselves and for your season. And I'm just like, oh, dude, what do you mean? I'm at 1.2, dude. It's welcome. Dude, come on over.
Look at my fucking arrow from week 16 onwards. Down, slide up, down. Like, it doesn't feel good. It hasn't been fun.
I mean, I'm in the same boat. I think if I had been hovering around like 500K the entire season, whatever. But I was just looking at my game week history rank from the season. And the reason I think it's hurting so much is because in game week 10, I was 2.3 million. In game week 11, I was 1.5 million. In 12, I was 900K. And then 13, I was 400K. So like I shot up and I was like, hope is back. The season is still on. And then it's just been slowly losing ranks. Like, I'm not sure I've been in the plunger in any of these weeks, but I keep getting the middle of you two. And one of you has a really bad week and I just have a kind of bad week. And it's like the life's draining out of me slowly.
It's an FPL sandwich.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. Yeah, again, I really am not here for any of the bitching from either one of you. Sharp's like, look at my line going up like a little bit. Like, I can't even see it going up. Are you fucking kidding me? Look at my line.
Hold ourselves to higher
Get your
expectations.
fucking eyes checked.
Yeah, I mean, Mac and I, at least we can take some solace in making up some ground in the mini.
It's true.
Still 65 points back in my case, but we're coming.
Yeah, but you were like 95 points back 2 weeks ago. So
exactly.
Shut the fuck up.
Big changes are coming.
Right. You don't need to increase. You just need to wait for Sharp's rank to fall to yours.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. That's what it is. Everything's fine as long as Sharp's also doing bad. That's all that
You know what? If my misery brings you guys joy, I still fucking hate it.
Your misery would bring me a lot less joy if your happiness didn't bring me so much pain. This guy's the worst in the group chat when he's having a good week.
Oh my god, yeah, it's so
insufferable.
It's also
I think Luke is honestly worse. He was just down for the entire season, so we haven't seen it.
That's true.
That could be. It's been so long, we don't know how I am when I'm doing well.
You were firing some shots at me last week, and you're like, "What happened to our unity?" I'm like, "Brother, a couple weeks ago I offered peace, and you were like, fuck that." This is this podcast just like us going to war together against each other, really.
100%. And I'd have it no other way.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's talk. I guess first thing to talk about going into Game Week 22 is AFCON is finally. God, is it done? Wow, now I'm saying that.
No,
I'm
it's
like,
not
it's not done. We still have the finals, right? Yep. Yeah, okay. Yep. But from an FPL perspective, the only player that we're really missing is Ndai. Is he playing in that finals?
Yeah, he is. They beat Egypt today.
Okay. Oh, so it is done, or no?
No, Egypt was the semifinal. You guys can tell we put a lot of prep work into this one.
Nice, yeah. Well, we've all just taken a nice, well-earned week off for sure.
Yeah, we just really needed that mental health break that is the FA Cup weeks and the international breaks.
Yes, but I think so. Some of those players coming back also coincides with a lot of uncertainty in FPL, as well as some fixture swings that are coming around the bend. We've been talking about this Chelsea one starting in 24, or really starting now actually, but that is pretty hardcore in 24 for a while now. You have United with a decent set of fixtures after the next two. So that starts in 24 as well. You have Bruno Fernandes, who came back last week. Honestly, looked really good too. I think he got an assist, something like that. So yeah, it's again to that time period where we're talking, it may be time to make some shifts, maybe time to change that structure around. Obviously, none of us own Thiago, so we've got to go do that. A lot of changes to be made. That being said, we're also entering the period of new chips, doubles and blanks that are coming down the pipe. So in that sense, it behooves you to roll some transfers. Lots going on. I think for me, coming out of AFCON, the player I'm the most interested in is Mbeumo. He's just been a consistent player who I've liked all year and I've owned not as much as I want to, but now that he's coming back and has a good set of fixtures starting in 24, that's somebody I want to target. We also all kind of have some players who are just chilling on our teams.
Dog shit.
Phil Foden is probably the main one. And then as well as we have some Newcastle players that I'm not sure we want to keep long term. I think all of us have Bruno G. Mac and I have Chow. I don't think Bruno G has been producing, so maybe he's a keep. But at the same time, I kind of think we've gotten potentially a little lucky with that, and it might be time to sell him at some point soon. That being said, every time I sell a player, they end up doing well. So who's to say?
I think the funny part is, I think all of this over the next week, this week and forward, is building towards 24. And there's so much that we don't know due to so many other things you mentioned, AFCON, players coming back, how they're going to fit in. But also the teams you're going to target are two that had manager changes, and we don't know how they're going to play either.
That's the worst part of all this, or maybe the most complicated part, is that I think specifically in the case of Chelsea, like you're saying, Sharp, I mean, who knows how this Mansour Senior guy is. Pulled that one out of the hat. Not my best work, but I'll stand by it.
Yeah, well, and there's also a change in the sense of the player movement. Like we touched on Semenyo, but if you go to the fixture ticker over the next 8 weeks, Bournemouth is right at the top. And it's like, who do you buy from Bournemouth right now? Chelsea, you have a new manager. Who do you get from Chelsea? Like, who's still going to play? Palmer sat out today's game because he had a thigh issue or something. And it's like, all right, same old shit. We don't know if they're going to be good defensively the way that they have been in certain ways anymore. We don't know if they're going to be good attacking. We don't know who are his favorite players. You also have Palace on that list, but they're running thin. Probably players that you want to get rid of or less so buy. And then, you have City that has just too many cooks in the kitchen and defensively is fucking battered. So weird time. Not a whole lot of places that you can go, at least in the immediate, it feels like.
I know, it's very strange. It's like normally at this point in the season, you kind of have a lock on who the teams are. It's not like usually this. I don't know if this is just me, but this entire season has felt just bereft of options. I can use a thesaurus for you guys if that's too big of a word, but like specifically you, Sharp. But like it's this like the entire season, it's just felt like there's been nobody. Like we're like, should I get Semenyo or should I get Dewsbury Hall or like Harry Wilson? Like I miss the days of people who could score goals.
Well, it's also just hilarious looking at if you look at top point scorers of the season, it continues to be a joke to me. Like we were sending memes back and forth I sent one where it was like, on one hand, you have Ollie Watkins, Cole Palmer, fucking Bukayo Saka, like all the big names. And then on the other hand, you just have these guys who are crushing it. Harry Wilson and Dewsbury Hall and like all these random ass Bruno G. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but I'd love to be able to attribute it to like DEFCONs or something, but I really don't think that's part of it, but it's definitely not the sole factor. Like these guys are just scoring. It's crazy.
I mean, they're scoring and the big guys just aren't scoring whatsoever.
Right.
So
Who's Mo Salah? Like who is that guy? I don't even know who that is.
Ask Egypt. Egypt's got to see it. They did fine.
Yeah, exactly.
But, Arnie Slot is not a fan of Egypt, apparently. I don't know.
So I guess let's touch briefly on like teams. We can touch on like who's doing well and who's doing bad. This is genuinely, I've been using this for a while and he finally posted it on Twitter. He just has it in some of his videos. This is FPL Harry, but he puts this together every week, and as a little data nerd, I love it because it gives you kind of the idea of it's sorted by XG per 90 and XGC per 90, but then on the far right column, it talks about, how they're performing in the last 6. So it gives you an idea of where they're trending. Immediate call out just to Mac's point of fighting back. Wolves over here on the defensive side are second in XGC in the last 6, which is crazy. For us, that means our Newcastle guys maybe they meet a blockade. It's hard for me to say that out loud without almost wanting to laugh because it is Wolves, but maybe they're finally buttoning things up defensively. Bournemouth are fucking terrible, absolutely awful defensively, which I mean we knew, but to actually see the number out there is insane. Like
it's kind of interesting Bournemouth because like what do you say, Sharp?
I'm probably the same thing. They're third in XG per 90 over the last 6.
Well,
you're gonna know you're gonna get an up and down game. So that's why you could target Semenyo. Now is who's going to be the guy that's going to return because you're not going to get a defender.
What's weird about Bournemouth too is like they play basketball and we're aware of that. They played basketball last season. Like I don't think anybody was looking at defensive Bournemouth assets for last season. So the fact that they came out so strong with the clean sheets in the DEFCONs is weird. Like because now they're either scoring 4 and conceding 3. Or just having like a 1-1 game, and there's no in between.
Yeah, for sure. Another one to talk about because it's relevant to me and everything's about me is that City are the second best defense listed here, but have dropped to 8th over the last few games, and I think that's probably going to continue to get worse just considering all the injuries they have at the back. Ruben Diaz is out, Vardiol is out, Ake's like not able to play every game, I suppose. They keep pulling players in that I wasn't even aware were in their organization that keep coming into the lineup. So in the most recent FA Cup game or EFL Cup game they played, O'Reilly played like defensive mid.
CDM,
yeah. So what a weird world we live in. And then you have teams like Chelsea that are continue to be like a really solid attack, but all of a sudden new management. Do we know what that's going to look like? United is probably the biggest question mark because even though they have a new manager, we're not sure. Like, is it for sure that Carrick is seeing out the rest of the season?
Yeah, he's appointed as the interim for the rest of the season. I think the plan is for them to try to go for him, like test the waters with him for the season because he's kind of got a lot of hype amongst some of the data nerds for like young coaches, although he didn't set the world alight on when he coached Middlesbrough. And I think they're just going to reevaluate in the summer, which is honestly a remarkable level of array from United, considering they only usually operate in the disarray side.
I suppose that's fair. My clapback on United, like, and this is why I really struggle as someone who like was a fan as a little kid, and now when you guys are like, you got to pick a team. In theory, I kind of want to pick them, but they also make me want to throw up like all the time. Like when these players are calling Sir Alex Ferguson and being like, "Hey, yo, is it cool if I manage the club?" Like, what are we doing? He's old news. He's old fucking news. Like this team hasn't been good in so long. Like this organization just needs to move on. They're so caught up in their old glory days that it just every time I see a new coach come in, it's like a player that I was watching when I was a little kid, and I'm like, what's going on? Can they just move on?
Like, yeah, well, and if it wasn't Michael Carrick, it was going to be old Gunnar Solskjaer, who is like former player, former Man United interim coach, turned long-term coach. Like, yeah, I don't know. I think that they're just trying to rely on the feel-good factor if the results aren't going to be that good. Like, it's so tough. I don't know. Do you think that they would go for like Xabi Alonso? I don't know if you guys are as in tune about that, but
my United fan, because one of my friends is a big United fan. That was the first thing he texted. That's how I found out that Xabi got or stepped down or resigned or whatever, is because that's who he wanted.
I just think that would be such a boneheaded move. I mean, Xavi's a great coach, but to drop a guy because you don't like that he's playing a back five, not recruit for his defense or his midfield like you wanted in the summer, only to hire another guy who plays a back five, that just seems like, actually, it seems right up United's alley. Never mind. But yeah, I mean, they're kind of ass, despite them being behind the table.
Yeah. I think from an FPL perspective, though, it's going to be confusing because we've gone this season kind of knowing, okay, this is how this team's going to set up, right? You have the 2-10s in Cunha and Bumo, some sort of striker, and then Bruno Fernandes feeding that. And we don't actually know. So it could be positive for Bruno. It could mean he's going more forward. Maybe that gives him even more potential. It could mean set pieces change and somebody else is taking them. It could mean that Cunha has better minutes or Bumo has less minutes or something. So, it's nice because we have City and Arsenal to like see how they line up. But the tough part about that is it's also City and Arsenal, which means that they're probably not going to do super well. And it's not going to be clear whether that's an indication of like the new manager or just the fixtures. So it's a tough time. Yeah,
it is, but I think that's the kind of nice part about it is what you just mentioned. They have City and Arsenal. We have 2 weeks to figure it out into 24. You have Chelsea, who, yeah, it's a good start here, but you can get by, I think, on these 2 games, and then their 4-game run starts in 24. So we have these 2 weeks to really figure out what's going on, and that's where my confliction is. And I think if you need to take a risk and move up, like, go ahead and take your risk and try to pick one of these players early that's going to do really well. If Bumo comes back early, if Bruno starts returning really well next week, if Enzo truly is the guy at Chelsea that's going to return in the next 2 weeks, and people don't make that move, like, it could be a great boost for you. But if you're already up there and feel comfortable where you're at and have the ability to wait, I think it's a nice perk.
That was exactly why I wanted to offload expensive players and just have cash in hand. It's just because I think all that uncertainty is like, we just don't know who the guys are going to be. Like, if I had to put my money on one player benefiting between those 2 teams benefiting from all the changes, I think it would be Bruno Fernandes, because he no longer has to play deeper in a double pivot midfield. I think he can actually like move up and play like 10. Because I was looking through some of the Michael Carrick management games when he was at Middlesbrough, and it looks like almost every game he's played a 4-2-3-1. So I think that Bruno stands to benefit by moving further up the field, but I'm not sure how the wingers played in a system like that, and I have no idea how Chelsea's going to play. Like, not a clue. So I think that the main complaint against Bruno is he's been doing so well in spite of his position, and if he actually is playing further forward, he might just start popping off. But then there's just so many unknowns. I agree with Sharp, generally your point, like, we have 2 weeks.
Yeah. Well, and so this is, again, it's all about me, but no one would be stupid enough to have Cunha going into that. But it does kind of bring you to like, okay, if you were going to go somewhere in the midfield, let's say you were selling Cunha, or let's say you were selling like Phil Foden, which I probably wouldn't do this week, but if you were just fed up, where do you go? Where are the opportunities over the next couple? Who has some pretty good fixtures? Liverpool.
No,
not going there. No chance.
No, I mean, if you have Verts, good for you. Like,
all 3 of us are already there, just to be clear.
Yeah.
Well, are you talking?
I'm talking in the midfield. Yeah, like Wirtz,
okay.
Szoboszlai, somebody like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or you get Salah.
Honestly, I hope he comes back and just with how decimated our front is right now, and like gets plugged in, and Slot's just like, fuck it, like, I give up. I can't force my ball, and then he goes off.
Yeah, that would be sick. That would be a really fun thing from an FPL perspective too, to have Salah just come back suddenly and like start kicking ass again. That would be sick. That's the chaos that would be really, really fun.
Absolutely. It would turn the game on its head because you have Haaland, who's been blanking here a little bit, and you have Salah, and then you have to split. Guys are going to go one way or the other. It's going to be great.
Yeah. Mac, what is your read on Rodgers as a new owner? Obviously, he has cooled off a little bit from his crazy hauls that he was having for a bit there. Villa have still looked pretty solid. If in this graphic, they're basically a mid-table attack from an XG perspective. He's continued to outperform his XG, but has kind of slowed down. Is he somebody who, if you didn't have him, you'd be buying? Sharp, is he somebody you're interested in?
I don't think that I would personally buy him if I didn't already have him. I think the reason I moved on him early was because he had a good couple games. I mean, I guess that's not true. He still has Everton, so it could be a good game. And then he has Newcastle, who has got a middling defense right now, and then Brentford, and then Bournemouth. So, like, those...
And then Leeds, and then Wolves.
Yeah, and then it gets better. So, I mean, it's pretty much good until almost 30. Like, so maybe I'm talking myself out of that. I have Rodgers. The only thing that I'll say about Rodgers is just generally... I mean, Villa have been overperforming their XG so significantly that, like, a lot of Rodgers' goals, when you watch them and look at the eye test, are just because he is scoring worldies every week. Like, they are just great goals, and that's not a knock on him as a player, but from like a from a sustainability standpoint, I just get a little worried about that. Now, I think the classic counter argument is just that good players overperform their XG, right? And Rodgers was good last season, and we're seeing him be good again this season. He's taken more of a central role, so that is interesting. I think that he's actually appropriately priced. Like, he's priced right around 7 mil, and he performs like a 7 mil player. Like, he's going to score maybe every couple games, and if you got him, you got to hold the faith, like most other Villa players. On that topic, though, one of the things I'm actually curious about, though, is so Malin was confirmed going on loan to Roma today. So that's official. He's going. Wow. So does that boost, in your guys' mind, Ollie Watkins, especially with the form that Villa's been seeing?
I mean, what's he? Yeah. Go ahead. Sure.
I mean, I guess the way that I look at it, I was going to come on here and kind of say the opposite, as you saw me get a little passionate there about no, sorry, not to your question. The opposite about Villa, in that I think you should absolutely have a Villa asset on your team over the course of the next 9-10 game weeks. He's a guy that can just sit there, that you can feel confident in playing every single week. And whether that's Rodgers or Watkins, I think make your pick. The way that I see it is, I'm going to keep Rodgers. I already have him. He would probably be my first choice. But if you're looking to get rid of Ekitike and you already have Thiago, or you already have whatever, Watkins is right around that same price if you want that sideways move. And he's going to be a lot better, I think, through the remainder of the season. So I think you should have one of them. Matty Cash is always out there for a cheap defense.
Fuck Matty Cash. I hate that guy.
Fair enough. But I think you should have a Villa player in your team.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with that. I guess, like, if I had to pick one, I'd say go Rodgers, just because Watkins is still so expensive. Yeah. Like, going Ekitike to Watkins doesn't free up a lot of cash. In fact, how much is Watkins right now? He's probably Watkins. He's 8.8, so exact same price as Ekitike. Yeah. But if you look at the Villa squad, they have Ollie Watkins, who's 30. By the way, I thought he was like 23 last season. So when I found out he was 29 last season, I was like, what the hell?
He's babyface McGee.
Babyface McGee. Insane. He's an old man. But then, so if Malin's gone because he's on loan to Roma, like, their next striker is Brian Maggio, who's 17. So I don't know.
He's already been, like, there was a time mid-season where Watkins was starting to lose some of those minutes, and he's already been getting those back and has been a lot more consistent in terms of being a starter. He's been returning more, and to your point, Mullen being gone helps even that much more. So yeah, I agree. I don't think that's a bad pick. To Sharp's point, it is Ekitike. It's the same player, honestly, because it's a striker that doesn't have pens. It's a weird spot to be in.
For Villa?
I thought Tielemans took him.
Does he? Yeah.
That would be the other guy you could look at as a cheap midfielder. If you needed I don't know why you would get rid of Harry Wilson or Dewsbury or whoever, but if you wanted a other cheap mid, he's out there.
Yeah, I mean, Tielemans is not someone who I think does a ton of FPL specific contributions, but he's clearly a great player. I had him in my season to start this season, just as like a cheap budget guy.
I think it's really just that
I thought maybe it'd be triggering. Go ahead.
the Villa boys. I mean, I think he's had a solid last 2-3 games, if I remember correctly. So I think it's just like, is he getting hot as a cheap option that you can put in?
Yeah. The one thing I don't get about Villa is that they wanted to sign Conor Gallagher, who Spurs ended up signing. Hold that L at Villa, as if they didn't just knock us out of the FA Cup. Like, we're just going to gloss over that. Also, I don't think he was the player Spurs needed at all. So it just doesn't make any sense. But the larger point is that Villa were about to sign their 112th midfielder and then loaned out their only striker, leaving themselves with one 30-year-old striker. So, like, good from a minute standpoint, but I am a little bit worried just about that squad planning, I suppose.
Yeah. I did just double check. I mean, Watkins is on some sort of penalty share. Some of them were Malin's way as well, and then some are Buendia's way, I guess. So just not guaranteed on pens, I guess I should say. But there's definitely, you're not wrong, Mac. He's definitely taken some pens for them. But yeah, I don't know if I trust Villa is the thing. Like, to the point of Villa boys preseason or early season, I don't know if I trust them. But the point that I do agree on is that their fixtures are just juicy for a while. Like, I think Everton is genuinely one of the best fixtures that you can have. I think Bournemouth is a really good fixture.
This guy, there's not a bigger Everton hater out there than this guy.
No,
it's insane.
Okay, look at the damn data, brother. Look at the damn data.
I don't need to do that.
That's the only reason
only data I have. Tarkowski's points equals Everton's defense.
Right. That's why I'm pro Everton defense sucks, is because when I say that, you go scoreboard. And so I'm like, all right, fine. Yeah, fine. We'll play this game.
So
we're just allergic to points this season. He didn't have Semenyo on his great run.
No, okay.
Doesn't like Everton.
I'm going to bitch for 3 seconds because I think it's so funny. We need to play a game later in the year that is how many like, show a player's points totals and which weeks did Sharp own that player. Because, like, where the fuck is it Eze, for example? Do you guys remember when he scored a fucking
That's the only one that I was actually mad about.
Like, what are we talking about? Rodon, who I've owned for like 10 weeks now, has done nothing except the 1 week you owned him, Sharp. Mukiele, same shit. Like, like they came off the bench for you with like 17 points or some shit. Anyway, the Eze one does. I keep seeing the Arsenal lineups and him just not even being in it, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, how did this happen?
It's almost like I just got off him at the right time. Sell high, baby.
You do like
you got the touch. Anyways. You got the sense, baby.
One more time, I'm going to say scoreboard though, Luke. In your lack of faith in their consistency, is Villa is currently third in the Prem. No matter how we want to view them, they are still a top 3.
That's for sure. We were getting out a couple weeks ago with them. The weird part is like they're third in the Prem, and there's not a single player on that team that I trust besides maybe Rodgers. Like, how strange is that?
Yeah, it's really weird. Yeah, no, but I'm not actually off going for a Villa player. I guess I'm just saying that's my concern, is that I don't necessarily trust that, like, back to this, I suppose, right? They're not one of those top flight attacks, despite being third. But it's also like, this is XG, right? And Mac was just talking about how Rodgers continues to defy XG and score worldies. Like, this is not the number of goals scored in the league this season. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think Rodgers is a fine, like, I'm going through these motions. I'm guiding us through these motions because I'm thinking about, I might sell Cunha this week and go for somebody else in the midfield. So that for me brings players like Enzo to mind, but you have the Chelsea uncertainty that brings Rodgers to mind. But do I trust Villa? I could go short term with like a Liverpool player, which feels irresponsible, but also kind of spicy. So that's kind of where my head's at. But anyway.
I don't think you can go wrong with all of those except for Liverpool. And I mean that like genuinely, like not even hate, just like
no, I know you do.
the others are a baseline, like you can expect a couple points from, whether it be bonus, assist, whatever. I don't think I trust anyone on Liverpool, and I think Wirtz is the only one you can point to, but I still don't feel good about that.
My favorite part about this Liverpool crisis is the fact that you guys are in 4th.
But like I think the biggest thing, and I saw this on Twitter too last time, was if you watch those games and you just compare it to even last season, what you got to watch, like the excitement and the creativity and looking like anyone gives a shit has declined dramatically. And I think that's worse than points decline.
Oh, I don't disagree. Like, on principle, you guys are not playing well. And like, nobody with eyes or a brain is going to argue contrary to that. It's just like, do you think that you guys are improving? Because I feel like you guys are improving. I think if we looked at you guys 10 weeks ago, you were like, what, 10th or something? And you played Arsenal and drew Fulham. But then you guys were on a pretty good run from all the way back in November, where you've gone win, draw, draw, win, 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 draw, 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 win. So you guys haven't lost like in a while.
Sure, but there were a lot of draws in there, and you have the likes of Leeds within those draws. I believe 2 of them. We did draw them twice, so it depends. But that's part of the problem. And so I think that run of PSV, that draw to Leeds, and that whole shit show that happened was right before this. Like, we were actually okay in the beginning of the season, which is the upsetting part, I think.
I'm not saying by any means that you guys are fixed, like, and you're going to go on a title charge here. Like, you're further from third. Let's say, like, Aston Villa in third has 43 points. You guys have 35. Sunderland in 10th has 30. So you're closer to 10th points wise than you are to third place. It's just, I feel like Liverpool has been putting it together a little bit, or have at least been on a moderate upwards trajectory, kind of like my FPL rank, like same vibes. So
you're like, not wrong. I hear what you're saying.
I'm not entirely off of them, and that's just kind of what makes me so upset about how Ekitike has panned out. Because I feel like as Liverpool have been slowly improving, he just hasn't quite put it together with them, and that's the saddest part.
The injury, and who knows? We'll see what Burnley does. Imagine if he blinks against Burnley and how dumb we feel over the course of that Thiago sell.
Oh, I already feel dumb, so you're good. 5 goals later.
Yes, I was gonna say we've been punished enough, but it is worth noting, like, it's not certain that he plays or starts. I should probably say starts, because he did play the other day. I think he got like 60 minutes, something like that. I can check, but like, he did come in. He was able to sub, so in theory, 30 minutes is what he got. In theory, he should be eligible to start, and you would think that, considering his track record this season and no Isak, that he probably should start against Burnley. That being said, it's not certain. So I don't know. Have you guys done any contingency planning for if he wasn't there, or is there any element for you where you're like, I know he's playing Burnley, but I'm not set on keeping him? Like, is there any reason why you guys might sell?
No, I'm keeping him versus Burnley for sure.
Yeah, the only reason I would sell is out of spite. So I've considered it. But my problem is right now, if I don't have a contingency plan. I think the best thing I have right now is Barry coming off the bench against Villa. So like, there is an aspect of me that is considering that for other transfers.
Yeah.
Also, the one thing I'll say on Ekitike is he came in what point in this last game? Do you guys know off the top of your head?
Yeah, he played 30 minutes, so he came in at 60.
So he came in 30 minutes and got a goal and an assist. And I feel like it's objectively, if you have a guy that, you know, if you're going to prioritize one, resting him, giving him a couple minutes to get a little more fresh before the Prem game is probably the right move. Yeah. So, and Burnley are just really bad, man. Like, I wanted them to be good this season. We were all on that Steve hype train, but Burnley are like really bad. So I think even if he does come in and plays 30 minutes, it's possible that he still gets a goal or an assist or some sort of return. And I just don't feel the need to move him on before that, at least.
Yeah, I think that was a nice reassurance goal and assist to make sure that we keep him. One thing, obviously, that we should touch on that came out of this week was you had the FA Cup and the EFL Cup. So that means that we have slightly more information about what potential doubles and blanks might look like going forward. So there's a lot going on here, but just to summarize kind of what this means, now that Arsenal has moved on to the finals of the EFL Cup, there's like a solid chance that they're going to have a double in 26, and that Wolves would also have a double in 26. I think that's actually a positive thing, in the sense of, regardless of what your strategy is, we're all already tripled up on Arsenal, and Wolves having an extra fixture that's Arsenal, I don't think means that you go get a Wolves player. So I kind of think that just means business as usual, even if they do double at that time. But in terms of like long-term chip planning. There's a lot going on. There's a potential 4 blanks, a smaller blank in 31. I'm not going to go through all the contingencies because it's a pain in the ass. I watched some summary videos, and I'm not one of those guys who can do all that, but I'll wait for Ben Krellin to figure it out, and then I'll let you know.
But it's paywalled, unfortunately.
Is he really? He's paywalled now?
Yeah, I think he's paywalled behind the hub or whatever, Fantasy Football Hub or something like that. I know he's the GOAT, but I'm a little mad.
Rip, Ben. But yeah, Game Week 31 is a smaller blank. Game Week 34 is going to be a big blank in theory. All of this stuff is right. 33 is potentially a big double, and then 36 is potentially a smaller double. So that's like the summary of it. Obviously, it's dependent on a lot of things, like who wins the or who plays in the finals for the FA Cup, who moves along in the UEFA Cup, whatever that's called. God, there's so many. So it depends on what the progressions are, what shakes out, what have you, but it does look like there's more to be planned for. So all that to say, it kind of matters thinking about when you're going to free hit, wildcard, and bench boost. Also triple captain, just in the sense of like, unlike the first half of the season, we're not going to triple captain in like a single game week because you might have like a Holland double later in the year that you should probably be saving up for. But it does kind of put a couple of wildcard windows together. Either you can do the a little bit earlier one, the 24 or what have you, somewhere in the next few weeks, or there's potential for you to dead end into Game Week 31 and then wildcard in 32 to get ready for the double in 33 and prep yourself that way. That's like a general, obviously things change. You can do whatever you want. You can wildcard whenever, you can bench boost whenever, but point being, that's two schools of thought, right? And Mac has talked a lot about how saving your wild card for those doubles and stuff is really, really powerful. And I think that's true. And then also like, getting your bench boost right for a huge double in like Game Week 33 is definitely important. The flip side of that though, is that means that going into 33, people are going to have very, very similar teams. So wildcarding into that, you're probably wildcarding into a relatively template squad. But if you were to wildcard now, then you have to just kind of freeball it throughout the rest of the year. Regardless, in like the immediate, this means it really benefits us just in general to save transfers because we're trying to get ready for this period. Like Game Week 31 seems forever away, but if you start going through the actual, what it would take to get there, suddenly it helps to save them.
I was trying to see if my mic or my earphones were working. Did you say bank transfers? Roll transfers?
Not me.
Okay. I wanted to double check.
I have been coming around a little bit more towards the wild card in 24, I will say. I was initially very against it. Obviously with the asterisk that this is in the context of my own team, but I've been doing
100%.
a lot of reflecting on like, what did I do that allowed me to gain a lot of ranks, right? Like, what was it that worked so well in that, like, I started the season, like the first 2 game weeks, I was like 7 million. I'm barely on the same chart as you guys. In fact, I don't even think you have the bounds of the chart going as high as I was.
I don't.
And really, honestly, that rank, like massive rank decline was just simply that I didn't have the same players as everybody else. And I've kind of just been playing the game worse than everybody else when everybody else wildcarded, I suppose, in like that 13 time frame. But I guess the only pro that I'm now starting to consider is when I look at I'll have 3 transfers going into 24, but you keep your transfers in a wildcard now. So it's not like I would lose those transfers. And it might just behoove me to wildcard and get all of the players that I want ahead of a big fixture swing and then just have 5 transfers 2 weeks later to just attack the guys who are performing. I don't know. I'm not set on it yet, but I think that I have more problems than I can reasonably address in 3 transfers in 24, and that's what's starting to become interesting about the 24 wildcard, because I think that I've always wildcarded later in the season to attack the double game weeks, but realistically that's 1 game week, and there's just so much benefit to be gained by using it early. But I don't have like math or data to prove that yet. And so that's what I like. That's why I'm like half baked on it. It's really, I think, just going to depend on the next 2 weeks. So we'll see how Manchester United does, see how Chelsea does. But
that's my kind of reasoning. No numbers behind it. Just faith, just gut feel. No, I agree. I mean, what I started to plan out, I was kind of realizing that I was going to get the guys that I want in the Chelsea and Uniteds in a couple weeks and start planning now. I'm still going to have to take a hit. I'm still not going to get exactly the guys I want in the way I want. And so the 24 is starting to become a little more realistic to me. The hard part about that is if Luke, you flip back to that double game week screen, like it looks so juicy to wildcard into 33, take a free hit in 34, triple captain in 36, or bench boost like that. It's almost like, how could you not? So now I'm a little conflicted.
If you wildcarded in 24, and this is so weird that it's a complete 180 for me as someone who is an opponent of that, and I still am, I'm probably more like 60-40 not doing it right now, whereas 2 weeks ago I was like 80-20 not doing it. But if you wildcard in 24, what I always say about the wildcard is as soon as you wildcard, you need to start banking transfers, because theoretically you're picking guys that you're going to have for the next couple game weeks. So by the time 29 rolls around, you could spend a couple transfers, like 3 or 4 of them, and then still have 5 transfers into 33. Like, as long as your squad planning is good enough, I think it's possible to attack 33. There is, however, like a rumor that, there's a scenario where you get a Manchester City triple game week or something like that based on how some of these cups shake out. And that's where you could just get absolutely fucked.
That'd be absolutely insane.
I think at that point, though, like if you were in that position, you would take a hit and be fine. You know what I mean? Like I would take a hit for a triple City player and be okay.
Mm-hmm. I think the problem for me is, as when I did wildcard in the first half of the season, I tried to do that where I looked ahead 3-4 game weeks where I was like, okay, I could play this guy here. I can match that low budget guy. And on this week, I'm going to be fine. Injuries derailed that week 1. And all of a sudden I was having to spend the transfers I was ideally going to bank that entire time. Now, part of that personal problem, I like doing that, but it was a very real repercussion of injuries that I didn't anticipate, even though I did try to plan. And that's where my hesitation personally comes in.
For sure. I think, like, to your point, Sharp, this is so perfectly set up for a wildcard 32. Like, this almost tells you, like, why would you do anything else? Because dead ending into 31, they even give you an international break so that you can really spend your time doing it and check all the injuries and do what have you. Wildcard into 32, you could like bench boost 33, triple cap 36, free hit 34.
But I think that depends on your scenario, because if 100%. Everybody wildcards in 33, then you're not gaining anything. And that's been the problem, I think, for all of us since the AFCON transfers. Because if we look back at this game week, when did we get all of those?
That's just going to take it back to this every 5 minutes.
That's the problem.
You did
shows the graph.
But like, if you look at this, when did we get those AFCON transfers? Genuinely asking. I can't remember the game week.
Was it 16? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
and look at all of us.
We fucking suck. Yeah.
All of us started going up right then because all of the teams started to become the same. So you're not gaining anything every time there is a large point for the template to reset.
I agree with you 100%. But if you aren't there and everyone's still doing it, then you're just getting royally fucked.
No, yeah. And that's the risk versus reward. And that's why I'm still not like saying I'm 100% wildcarding in 24. I'm just starting to come around to it a little bit more than I was maybe like 2 weeks ago.
And I think that also the whole like team dependent is always true, but it's absolutely true in this sense. And I also think it's kind of rank dependent. Like, so for example, if I was in Sharp's position, I'd be probably leaning towards 32 because I'd be like, hey, I've been doing pretty well. I can navigate this next period if I need to take a hit or something, whatever. But this way I'm covered and I can keep this rank. Whereas for me, I'm like, the reason I'm leaning more the 24, I'm with you. Like, I'm not set on it. The reason I'm more leaning than 24 is because I'm like, if game week 32, talk about like mental fatigue, by 32, if I'm still 1.2 million, I'm killing myself. It doesn't like, there's no wild card coming. You know what I mean? So I think for me, it's partly, I want to get to a point where I'm like, fighting again, and so I think it in that sense it makes more sense for my team, but also like what you said about what's your current team look like, right? And I guess I can jump into my bus team really quickly. Like for this week, this team's fine. I actually don't mind it, right? Everybody has nice fixtures, it's all good, whatever. But let's say Foden blanks again, or Foden gets some minutes taken off of him or something. I'm done with him. I kind of want to take my money and get out with my Newcastle guys. I don't have the United guys I want. I sure as hell don't want Cunha. There's a lot of players that I don't have from Chelsea. I have none of those picks. Don't have Morgan Rogers. Don't have Ollie Watkins. I'm not going to want Ekitike long term, probably. And anyway, point being, like, this does look like a team to me where I'm like, I really just, to your guys' point, like, if I was to build the Wildcard 24 team, which I have, like, how quickly or how could I get to that team? And it's not super feasible. Now, do you have to have the perfect team in 24? No. But at the same time, like, I've been taking a beating this year. I don't know if it's the time to keep taking on, like, players who are doing well and what have you. So, anyway,
yeah. I mean, I'm in the same boat. Like, I think if I was at Sharp's rank, and you're 200K, and there is an optimal strategy, that's when you want to play it. But I'm not trying to play optimal. Like, the dream of, like, top 100K this year is probably not realistic, given the fact that we're 22 game weeks in.
Oh, I think you could still hit it for sure.
Maybe, but I don't want to finish at like 650K. I certainly don't want to finish worse, just to be clear. Like, it's not this or higher. It's hopefully this or lower. And so I'm starting to think about ways to chase rank. And this is just where it becomes important to play your own game. And
Yeah.
I'm in the same boat with you, Luke, where, like, if I flash my team, I was looking at guys. Where the hell is my team? I'm just so used to you spoon feeding all these things in for me, Luke. I actually have to share my own shit now.
Do you know the kind of FOMO you guys are going to cause if you both wildcard in 24 and have
And you don't?
a
No, you're not going
killer-
to be able to contain yourself. You're gonna do it.
No,
actually-
I think I can get through 24, but then if you guys go like insane that week and have a shit week,
You're
that
definitely
wildcard 25 is going to be crazy.
I'm just gonna do it like whatever will cause you the most mental anguish. Like, if I can be like, Neener, you don't have the Chelsea guys you want, like, then that's my decision right there. But I'm with you, Luke. Like, if I think, like, if I'm nervous on the Newcastle guys because we look at their fixtures and they're starting to turn, and I don't want a Crystal Palace guy, and I am concerned about having a Katike, and I don't have a bench at all, and I don't want Foden, I'm looking at like 7 or 8 moves to fix,
and that's without
fix in 3 weeks.
And that's without injuries. Like, let's say next week Gabriel gets injured again or something. Like, you're like, fuck, dude, I actually kind of have to. And so, not to say, I'm not saying anyone should or what have you. I'm just saying, like, there's definitely cause to be said for why. I think there's a big enough swing that it makes sense. But what we should talk through is, like, this is a little different than the one. It's only slightly different than the one I showed you guys last time. I took out Palmer, put in Rodgers, and put in Thiago as opposed to another dead end forward spot. And again, this is, you could have your debates of, is this the ideal or what have you? This is just an example. You've got a couple of Chelsea guys. You've got double United mids. You've got the same 3 Arsenal that you would probably have, or some combo of the same 3, whatever you want to pick. Really, the difference is just getting some of those other picks right. Gahey's probably one I would change. So it's not like, as much as we're saying this, it's not that different. It's not like, unless you're going for a player like a Palmer that you wouldn't normally be able to afford with your current structure, it's not that different. And, like, yes, there are picks to be changed, but yeah. So I'm just, again, the devil's advocate side of it is, like, I don't know. I could transfer in Rodgers. I could transfer in Enzo. Those guys aren't expensive. They're not hard to get. It's really, the big reason for this would be to get Bruno and Bumo, which is great. But I mean, United, it's not like United are like the best team in the league. Like,
well, and there's a very real scenario where United just become dog shit in the next 2 weeks because they're bringing in a guy who doesn't have top level experience. And while Michael Carrick is highly rated, he was at Middlesbrough and he did a middling job there. Middlesbrough middling. I'm on fire tonight. But he did an okay
my dad
job.
would love those. Yeah.
Well, give me his number. He was but he did an okay job there. And there's a very real scenario where, like, these Chelsea guys just look like dog shit. Like, Maresca is like a very talented
and
coach.
United. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And so, like, maybe we don't need to move for these guys at all. And the challenging part is it's a little bit of, it goes both ways, because if United look like shit for the next 2 weeks, you could say, I don't know if that's because they have really hard games coming up or if it's because they look like shit.
Right.
Versus Chelsea, we might get a little more of a read, but still 2 slightly more difficult fixtures than that run in 24.
Yeah, so it's really based on, like, this wild card is really based on getting those 2 teams. That is pretty much the point. It's maybe getting your Sunderland guys, which, it's not like they have great fixtures. They play Arsenal and Liverpool very quickly. It's just that long-term structure. And, initially when I showed this, it was that 4-5-1, very different structure to what I have now. And if you pull Palmer out, right, and you put this together, you're like, well, shit, this is actually not that different, right? This would be like, for me, this would be like a Bowen to Thiago, a Bruno G to an Enzo, an O'Reilly to Chalobah. Like, it's not that different, right? There's certain ways I'd have to fiddle this around. I'd probably have to pick one of the United mids to take and not both, but it's doable, assuming no huge issues. And again, you don't have to have this team.
Yeah.
And honestly, there's players in. Sorry, Sharp, you go.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say there's also players in that team that people might have that they don't necessarily need to get rid of. Like, you could keep Everton guys if you had them.
Yeah, you could keep Bruno G, dude. He's been scoring all the time. Like,
yeah, I honestly, you showing this is like a wildcard option made me feel a lot better about where my team's sitting. So I kind of appreciate that because I have planned it out where I don't have to take a hit over the next 3 game weeks. And I do have Bruno in there. I still have Saka in there. So, I mean, Ray's.
Sure.
I don't have Bumo, but I have then Rogers. I still have Harry Wilson in there. And then my back line, I don't have Chalobah, but like those are the only things I'm missing. And I have like Tarkowski in there playing Brighton.
Yep.
Just guys that I'm not mad about playing. So it's going to be determinant on Chelsea and United. I guess nothing really changes, but.
Yeah. Well, and like, Chalobah is a great example of, okay, he's been a high scoring defender this season, but it's not like he's like a Gabriel where it's like he's putting in huge hauls. And who knows? Yes, they have fantastic fixtures. So in theory, they're going to be solid defensively. Typically, a new manager is going to do positive things for the defense, but could be that they're bad defensively. They start playing more basketball style, and that's good for one side of the ball, but not the other. So anyway, I think this is interesting to keep in mind. I'm trying to plan my transfers accordingly of not committing myself one way or the other, though I am in my head probably like, I don't know, 60 to 70% gonna do 24. So it's a little bit more likely, and I'm trying to keep that in mind, but I'm trying to also be flexible. So I think, this feels like an opportunity in general where, because we see that transfers are going to get increasingly more valuable every week, like it's good opportunities to roll, but easier said than done. So I do kind of want to, so I'm going to bring my bus team back up and we can start talking transfer plans. So just because that forays nicely into what I'm trying to do here. Like, so this team is what I in theory was going to roll out anyway. And they can, this is a fine roll, I feel like. Players that I don't like in this lineup, O'Reilly versus Man United, I don't think they keep that clean. I mean, O'Reilly, I think has underperformed his potential for attacking threat. But there's also a possibility that he misses out. In theory, Ait-Nouri is going to be back. So he, maybe his minutes get managed or he doesn't play the full game or something. And I don't expect them to keep it clean. I wouldn't hate playing Rodon versus Fulham, but Leeds are like pretty ass. So it's not ideal. But I don't think I want to make a defensive transfer. If I'm really sitting here being like, is a transfer worth it? I don't think in defense is the place where it makes the most sense, but I could be convinced. And then I could just play Cunha instead of Garner against City and say, they've lost a couple of defenders. Like maybe he has a good game, new manager bounce, blah, blah, blah. Alternatively, I just get rid of Cunha right now and I go to, guys that we were talking about. So I don't think I have the money for Bruno Fernandes, but it'd have to be somebody cheaper. So I could just go early on Enzo, and they have really good fixtures right now. The problem is obviously what we were talking about. Like it could be that he just doesn't play. They play Brentford this week and then Palace, and then they go into that crazy run. I could go Rogers, right? We were talking about that one. I think that one makes a good amount of sense. Could just go back to Harry Wilson because he's scoring for fun and he plays Leeds, Brighton, United, and Everton in the next 4. So there's a lot of like different options on my mind. The only other thing that pops to my mind is I could just, make that Bowen to Thiago, flop them back because that has gone so well for me. Anyway, I'm genuinely looking for like what you guys would do with this team because I think I'm of like 5 different minds. I could go a lot of different directions. I don't know if it needs anything. And again, if I'm wild carding in 2 weeks, then maybe I don't need to go for a player. But the flip side of that is like maybe it does allow me to go for a player.
I think that the best game that you are not actively playing in is Chelsea versus Brentford, and you cover pretty much every other good game. Therefore, I think you should just roll because you've talked about the value of transfers increasing in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Shockingly, I would love to see a transfer here.
Talk to me.
I'm
listening.
Honestly, for the same reason Mac just said, I don't know. I'm pretty sure you could just go O'Reilly to Chalobah straight up right now, and that guy is not going to get taken out of your lineup, and it's someone you're going to want at some point. So why not get him when he's playing whoever they're playing? Who are they playing?
Well, they're playing Brentford, who've been pretty.
Listen, I don't think Thiago is going to do it. I don't think he's going to do it this week. I think he's going to take a nice little week off. He's going to turn it back on against Forest, which would make a lot of sense, right? Then he's going to blank against Villa, Newcastle, and Arsenal. And that's when you're going to own him. And it's going to be great.
No, you should finish before I take us wildly off track.
No, I like that transfer as a real option. Not joking aside. I'm not in love with taking Cunha down, but I get it for not feeling confident with Garner versus Villa or him against City. And you're going to want to get off him anyway. So go to, Rodgers is going to be there. You know that's someone you're going to want. I think that's a great choice.
If I did roll this, would you make any change? Like, would you put Cunha in for Garner, or would you put Rodon in for O'Reilly?
I mean, I think that Cunha would be more likely to score than Garner, especially with how injured you said the defense is. I think, but then you're playing players against players, which is kind of like a sin in FPL. Like, you don't want to play your team against your team. But, like, I don't know. I think it's kind of a toss-up. We just don't know how United are going to look at all.
Yeah.
So I think the only thing with Garner, I will say really briefly, is just that he's been pretty automatic for DEFCONs. So it's like he has that 4-point floor. Not to say that I think your point about putting Cunha in is fine, and that's where my headspace has been too. But last time he got 16 DEFCONs, and then that's where his points came from. 2 just random bonus. So he's been like actually a pretty solid budget pick for me. But yeah, him against Villa, like it's definitely not going to haul.
Yeah. I would go Rodon in for O'Reilly here.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. Fulham are pretty. Let's look at this. Fulham are pretty poopy, right?
I don't think they're that poopy.
They're 14th. They're 14th.
Yeah, but I've lost like 60,000 game week ranks because I haven't owned Fulham, so I'm Wilson, so I'm keenly aware of the fact that they are capable of scoring.
That would be funny. Harry Wilson takes away the clean.
That would be funny.
Yeah, okay, so I hear you. I think everything that you guys said is like all of the options that you presented are all in my mind. I think Rodgers over Enzo makes sense to me, and I'm cool with that. I'm not passionate about any of the moves, but it does feel like whether it's Rodgers or whether it's Enzo, or to your point, whether it's Chalobah, like going for somebody that I would want long-term, regardless of whether I wildcard, feels okay.
That's what I mean. It doesn't, because you roll this and you have 2 next week.
I have 2 right now, actually.
Oh, well, okay. But either way, you're
like, okay, let's cook 2. Wait a minute. What are we doing?
Yeah, we got options. No, my point is you're going to make those moves either next week or the week after, and they have a better fixture starting this week. So why would you not do it now? Like, what are you going to do different?
If I was wildcarding 24, it's that I could save the transfers, right? I could bring those players in 24 as part of the wild card and then roll, then go into the wild card with 4 transfers or something. That would be the benefit. Or, if I don't wild card, then it's just saving transfers. But yeah, I'm of 2 minds on this one. I think transfers are really, really valuable right now, but at the same time, like, I don't want Cunha in my team. I don't want to look at him anymore. So it's a tough one.
I just think that neither transfer you're looking at is guaranteed to score. It's not like it's the most obvious upside game week. No, they might, and then you might be really mad at me next week, and I'll take that on the chest. But like, it's just not. I always say this. It's just not the highest upside, right? Like, I don't know if you're going to gain a ton between, even if O'Reilly doesn't keep a clean sheet, so he gets 2 points. Is Cunha guaranteed to score? He didn't do it versus Wolves.
Right. Yeah, no, I don't think Cunha is guaranteed to score, which is part of the reason I would maybe go away from him.
Mac looks at FPL like a half full bottle of water. It's always glass half empty for him. It's never an upside week. It's never the week to attack. It's always not the greatest upside. We got players playing players.
Well, let's look at it a little bit. I mean, there's not too many teams that have high clean sheet odds. Your boys at Liverpool will probably concede.
God.
Arsenal is the same as always. You've got Villa, who not many people own. Tottenham, not many people own. So it doesn't look like a great clean sheet week. And then, from the attacking side, you have Liverpool. That's the other thing. Good go, Sobo. I don't even believe it when I'm saying it. You've got Liverpool with big goals, but nobody else has projected anything over 2. So to your point, Mac, Chelsea Brentford is probably a solid one. You could argue Villa Everton, but that's not even that high on this list. So I hear you. It's going to take, if I do roll, it's actually going to take a lot of stones to do it. And I don't know if I have those. So, all right, Sharp, do you want to move on to your bus team?
Yeah, for sure. So what I have here right now, not super thrilled with it, but I only have 1 transfer, and I'm trying to plan out how to get to 24 because I think I'm relatively close with the team I have right now. Like I was saying, the only guys that I didn't have from the wild card that you showed were Enzo and Chalobah in that team, and that's without taking a hit. Yeah. So I can get pretty close to it. So I'm thinking that I want to start making that move and setting myself up for that. But I'm not mad at my team that I have out there right now either. I'm pretty happy playing this team if I had to this week. So I'm
the United guys either though, right? Do you want to get Bruno, for example?
I would have Bruno in 24 with my plan.
Oh, I got you. You're saying you could get there with your transfers. I get you.
Yeah. Sorry. But what I would be looking at this week is a defensive transfer, probably to get Dallo out Ruben out. I mean, I don't want Dallo in there either. Both of them kind of piss me off. But with Ruben being injured, it would be. Originally, I was thinking Chalobah, so I would have a Chelsea guy in there eventually. But then with all the price changes that happened, that move didn't seem quite as feasible. It's still possible this week, but it doesn't set me up with any money. So then I started looking at other options, and Anthony Robinson kind of stuck out as a choice there at Fulham for banking some money there and someone I can play for the foreseeable future. So that's where I'm sitting right now, is actually making that transfer. But those are my thoughts.
The only thing with Fulham is they've been that annoying team this season that just can't really keep the clean. They can't get over the line. But I feel like that is a patience in the data type of moment, because it's very reminiscent to me of Brighton and Brentford earlier in the year, where they were getting really close and then conceding in the last minute a lot of the year. And then you've seen the past few weeks, you've felt it with having Verbruggen. Between him and Kelleher, they've been keeping cleans pretty solidly the last few. Anyway, point being, in theory, I think if we bring this back up again, I think Fulham have no, never mind. They did at one point have a pretty solid defense, but looks kind of poopy now. Maybe they've had some rough fixtures, but I definitely don't hate the Robinson play. We know what he could do when he was returning last year, and he's obviously probably trying to gear up for a little USA World Cup action. But I don't think you need to do that, though.
I don't think I have to. I have to do something eventually to free up money. The other money takedown is Ekatike to Thiago.
You're going to get rid of Ekatike, though, so you're going to get...
But that's already factored in. So I still need more to get up to Bruno.
So then it's...
So then I'm looking lower than a 5.5 or 5.6.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about guys that you want to get out of, it's definitely Guehi, right? And maybe Tarkowski if you can afford it for Keane. Same team.
Well, no, because now you just keep stacking transfers. I can't do those, so I need to do something bigger. And Ruben's injured, and he's not going to play.
Yeah. So he's out long term, right?
February 11th is the date right now.
Yeah. Hey, you could go double up on the Sunderland defense. Could go really cheap. You want to get a lot of money, you could get Mukiele again.
I keep having Dallo out for him, but Mukiele fucking keeps rising too. So then that became a problem. He's at 4.3 or 4.4 now. It's crazy.
Damn. That is
I know. Wild. So I know I definitely could look at that. I just think Robinson they're playing Leeds this week. So, feel good about that. And coming back, I feel like he's going to get a little hot here.
Can you rotate him out? I'm looking at their fixtures. They have Fulham, Everton, Arsenal, Forest. Can you rotate them out for Arsenal? And then they have Chelsea, Villa, City. So they don't have the greatest long-term fixtures. So I'm assuming he'd be able to be somebody you can flop around.
Yeah. I mean, Leeds, Brighton, you're right, United's kind of scary, but then Everton, City, sure. And I can get them out for those. I definitely have.
I was totally looking at I was looking at Leeds' fixtures. I'm a dumbass. Leeds, Brighton, United, Everton, then City. So that's really the only one. That and maybe United that you have to rotate them for.
Yeah. So then I'm looking at 24, and I can put Gahey in against Forest. I can put Thiago in against Villa for him there. I feel very okay with either of those. And then even the next week, in my example here, I actually have Chalobah coming in that next week against Wolves. So if I needed whatever from that point forward.
I'm trying to think of anything else, but I feel like your team is pretty well set up. Eventually, are you feeling the pressure to eventually get rid of Bruno G, or are you just like he's been scoring? What's the
so in 24, my transfer is Bruno G to Bruno Fernandes. So
that
would be because I mean next week. So obviously his Wolves and then Villa's, but he's at home for Villa, so like not the scariest thing in the world.
Look at you planning.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. That means that means it's all going to go to shit, and like 3 of our guys are going to get injured this weekend. And
stop thinking like us, dude. Read the crystal ball. Who's the vibes pick that you're missing out on right now?
Robinson, man, he's going to get hot. I can feel it.
There we go. All right, Mac, do you want to share it all, or where are you at?
Yeah, I mean, I'll share, but it'll be just for 1 second. I've already said I'm rolling. I was trying to think of moves to potentially make that could benefit me this week. I just really don't think there is one. I was kind of questioning like who should I bench, and I think I've landed on Tarkowski. Just a little sneeze action there. I think it's Tarkowski versus Villa because I don't feel the need to double up on the Everton guys, and like Sunderland, Wolves, Forest. That's pretty solid. The only thing that I did just consider that is slightly interesting to me is I was just randomly looking at Guehi, like how would I get out of him? And their fixtures actually, first of all, it's crazy that there's like just this few games left. Like we don't have to scroll very far anymore. But their fixtures aren't bad. You know,
no, they're really not.
Go Forest, Brighton, Burnley, Wolves, United, Spurs, Leeds. I had hope at the beginning of the season, Luke, but you were totally right when you were like the data is not good for Spurs, and they're in 14th now. I mean, they should probably sack Frank. It's bad, but
I can't believe it took us an hour and 21 minutes to get you to say that statement. I thought that
we haven't heard sack a lot yet either.
I said that a lot before the pod, but I stand by it.
I don't know. There's no reason to sack him if you're not going to go get somebody better. Like if for some reason Javi Alonso wanted to come to Spurs, then you sack him immediately. But I feel like he's going to have too many suitors from like more powerful teams in the summer to where there's just no reason to. Like, but it's abysmal over at the Spurs camp right now. But yeah, I mean, like, so these fixtures kind of turn. I guess I would just want to see like when are the Palace guys coming back? Like, who are those main guys? Because it's just not been a good run. I mean, they haven't kept a clean sheet barring this 21 since 15.
I think Palace are maybe a team that we haven't touched on yet, though. Like, to your point, they do have really nice long-term fixtures. And so when we're talking about wildcarding and all that kind of stuff, so I don't know if I'd be interested in the defense. I could be, but I don't know if I would be just because of what we've been talking about. Like, they're thin, they're tired, all those things. They did bring in Brennan Johnson, and I'm curious to hear what your thoughts are on him, Mac, as well as obviously Sarr is coming back from AFCON. So like maybe it's a possibility that you could eventually go back to a player like a Mateta or a Sarr or a Brennan Johnson. And I'm curious specifically for your thoughts, Mac, on the Brennan Johnson opportunity there.
Brennan Johnson's a goal scorer, right? That is what he is. It's just that he's such a pure goal scorer that it is problematic for teams that want him to do like literally anything else. Pass the ball, no, not very good at that. Cross it, no, not very good at that. But he arrives on the end of backside crosses, amazing. And if they play him like a inside forward, like I expect them to, I think that could be pretty solid.
Yeah.
I don't know. He played for Palace versus Villa, and that was a 0-0 game. So that one's a little tough.
He had 0.46 XGI. Pretty solid.
I mean, that's not bad for just betting into the system. And as you said, like if Sarr comes back, he could get on a lot of goals because theoretically Glasner is going to play him the way he's supposed to be played, right? So I think there is some upside there. I think if I was going to go to a Palace defender, I would probably just go back to Richards again. Right. play him in the occasional nice fixture, but the whole reason everyone got Guehi was because of all the headers he was getting, which he's not been putting in like crazy anymore. Yeah. So, like, I don't know. I think there is definitely some Palace upside, but it's sort of the same thing as every other team we're talking about right now, where we just don't need to look at them for like a week or two. We can make some decisions once some of these guys come back.
I think I'm really thinking about it more so in the sense of that wild card. Like, yeah, I was like, why do I have Guehi on the bench here? And I think that's why, is because I probably, when I was building that out, looked at 24 on it's Forest, Brighton, Burnley, Wolves, United, Tottenham, Leeds. Like, whether you're an attacker or a defender, that's a good set of fixtures. It's more just a question of like, what Palace is going to show up, like what version? Because if it's first half of the season, then shit, I want in on some part of that, but I don't know.
Well, sometimes the problem is when you're in an injury crisis and then the guys need to play every single game, it just creates a further injury crisis because then those guys don't get rested. So the jury's still out, I think, is the conclusion, which is the same as saying no conclusion. Right. The only other thing I wanted to say earlier when Sharp was talking and I totally interrupted him and I said I was going to take us wildly off track. Mansour Senior from Chelsea said possibly the cringiest thing I've ever heard on football Twitter today. He said he was doing like some promotional video for Chelsea. And he's like, well, I'm a manager. And if you break down manager into two words, it's man and age. And so if you think about that, we're aging men. And I was like, not only have you lost me, I have no respect for you. So I just didn't understand that quote. I don't know why that popped into my head, but it was probably one of the most ridiculous things I ever heard.
That is so tough. Yeah, we don't like that at all.
I think I'm out.
It's very Amorim-y, it feels like to me. Like I could see him saying something like that.
Okay, but that Jacksonville coach, the press conference preseason, everyone was talking about how he had zero aura, like wet blanket, like can't talk to a team, no way he could lead them. Jags have had it was a good season. It
was a good year.
Yeah. Good year. So, who knows? Maybe he knows something.
Yeah. One last thing I wanted to touch on before we go is captaincy really quick.
That's a big question.
I know what you're going to say, Sharp.
No, because I'm going to fucking do it. I'm just going to hate my life for 95 minutes. Like, it's going to be terrible to watch.
So here's the two arguments, because United are pretty poop. So, like, I'm just tempted to go Holland. Like, United are poop as poop defensively. But
it's still a Manchester derby away.
Yeah, like I could the thing is for me is how bad Burnley are, and specifically to strikers. That's why I'm like, oh fuck, this could be like a huge Ekitike game.
What are you gonna Holland has scored a guy who you don't know if he's gonna play?
Yeah, that's
period.
I mean, I know I did say that earlier, but I'm pretty confident he's going to start.
I also think he's going to start. I'm thinking about it too. But if he comes on for like 15 minutes, you are fucked.
You're fucked. Or if he plays like, even if he plays 60 or something, like that still could be kind of shit.
But even are you fucked? Like Holland's blanked like what 7 out of the last 10 or something like that. Like he's not the robot he was.
Well, there's a world where Holland doesn't start either if Marmoush comes back and he's finally fit. Maybe he gets rotated.
Pep just said he was all tired. So
he said he's really tired.
I would bet my life Holland starts, but
I don't think the risk is the United game as much as the Wolves game in 23.
Sure. Yeah. I think Sharp, it feels like he's blanked 7 out of the last 10, but that is not actually the case. He's blanked 3 out of the last 4, so that's the big part. But then right before that, he scored 2 goals, 1 assist, 2 goals, blanked again, and then 1 goal, 2 assists. So when he's on.
That's 14-2, 13-16. And that is the Holland conundrum. It's just that if you don't captain him, you are risking quite the beatdown.
So the 3 teams that he blanked against were Forest, Sunderland, and Chelsea. Let's see, has he played United this season? Last time he played United, he scored 2 goals.
Fuck you.
So it's just like, do you have the stones? The thing is, like, okay, seriously, I don't know if it's the week to, like, typically when you take on Holland, it'd be like, okay, Holland has a bad fixture. Who else has one? This doesn't really feel like that. This just feels like Ekitike has such a good fixture that maybe you go for it. But we know how that could swing, right? Like, because Ekitike could blank and no one would be surprised, and Holland could score 2 and no one would be surprised. again, we've talked about this before. In order for this to work for you, it has to be exactly the opposite of that. Haaland has to blank, and Ekitike has to score big. And I don't. Fuck. Yeah, I don't know if I have the stones.
I mean,
Sharp, do you?
Do you just go Bruno G against Wolves?
No, I'm not captain.
That dude is automatic. No, I don't know.
He is pretty automatic. We have to talk about, like, honestly, I haven't shown him enough praise. This man has single-handedly saved me for like so many weeks, and I think I want to credit it to Mac. I think you're the one who made me get him a while back.
You're welcome. I did. Thank you.
Thank you, because I was not happy about it, and boy, has he saved all of us quite a few weeks in a row here.
We have been blessed by him.
He's 11, 10, and 10, and he gets Wolves this weekend. I'm just saying.
Yeah, but we were just talking about how Wolves have buttoned things up a little bit.
Yeah, no, Gabriel's an option, but outside of that, I don't think anyone else is.
I got to talk to Connor again, because one of the things that I've heard that I can't confirm is that some shift in the team has caused Bruno G to play like much more forward, and that's why he's doing so well. Again, I really don't have any data to back that up. I would love to like pull up a position map if I can get it up in a reasonable amount of time, like just to see if there's any evidence of that. I might go like Gameweek like 1 to 11, and then
give me the last
like 12 to 21.
Yeah, give him since 12. That's a good call.
All right, I'm pulling it up now.
He was putting in hauls even as early as 7.
I mean, it's not that much different, but I don't know exactly when this supposed change window was, right? But I mean, if we're looking at this, he
added to the stage.
Oh, yeah, right. You're right. We're not looking at it. Well, I can't because yours is still on there. Thanks. All right. So if we're looking at this, I mean, the heat map doesn't look that different. But I mean, it's a massive increase just in terms of goals, assists. So maybe this is just a purple patch thing. Like maybe there is no actual data, but he's getting more XG.
I don't know though. Like
more set.
I think there's context too, though, in terms of some of the XG. Like the other game, he scored one where it was like the ball fell to him in the box, and he just had it was off like 3 headers that landed at his foot. Like that's probably a 0.8 XG goal. You know what I mean?
Or like when it's like the equivalent of when Gabriel came back and like it went in off of his thigh,
right?
And single-handedly cost us 1,000 game weeks.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not trying to be ungrateful, but I do think maybe this is just one of those like cash in the points and run.
No, he's dramatically overperforming. Like, it's not an argument. And unlike strikers who can kind of keep up that overperformance, I'm not convinced he's that guy. But
fuck yeah, I don't know if I have the stones. I think I might just stick with Haaland. He's so good. God, he had 1.5 XG on his own last game. Jesus.
Coward.
Aren't you going to captain Haaland too?
No.
Honestly, might not. I could see it. What was it? There was a random week where you captained Ekitike or something that I was like, damn, where did that come from? Like
they both blanked that week. So like nothing happened. But
yeah. This
one probably would be the week.
No, like the upside is really there. Like, you know, a couple of weeks ago, it was like Cunha versus Wolves, which admittedly was a good fixture as well. But like Burnley are pretty automatic against strikers.
I worry that this United team has the potential to be carved open like a block of cheese because they're going to switch to a 4-back, and they've been playing a 5-back all season. And I just worry that City are going to run through them. Like you don't take on Pep Guardiola without a real good plan.
You keep saying they've been playing a 5-back. Weren't they playing 3 at the back? Or are you just talking about like
no, the way the 5-back works is it's like a 3-4 and then the fullbacks drop in on defense and then run up. So they kind of just do like a parentheses on the outside, but they defend with 5-back. Like that's why you play that.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I hope they get carved open like a block of cheese. That sounds great. We don't have the defensive assets playing anymore, so I don't have to pretend to care about their cleans.
I just think a lot of their players are probably better suited to play the other way, and I say that with very little to back that up. But that is the feel I get off of playing FIFA with some of their players over the years.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. They were not really built for a back 5, and it was weird that they didn't sign more defenders. But, like, I don't think that their defense is very healthy in general right now. And so they play Martinez and Yoro maybe as the center backs, and then Dallo and Dragu as the outside guys. And I don't know, it's just that's not the strongest defensive lineup ever. Like I think whereas City right now is like this, United is also like this in the sense that all of their talent is up top.
No, 100%. They've been that way all season, and the injuries haven't helped them back there either. So I get it.
And
I can't believe we all went there. Like that's insane that we all were like, fuck it, United defense. How bad can they really be?
I mean, look at the fixtures that they had.
No, like I did it too. I'm not like I'm with you. I'm just saying like why did we do that? We know this. We're sitting. We knew the recipe.
We're just going insane. We're just talking FPL too much. Rationale has left the window when our ranks were not high.
What happened was we got 5 free transfers, and we are not responsible enough to have that much.
We should not have had that power. We're like kids in a candy shop.
Yeah, that was fucked. Like, because again, going back to this, look at all of us since 16. We've all gone up.
It's so stupid. We should not have done that. We even knew we shouldn't have done it when we did it, and we still did it.
I think we should do it.
Oh, it's so tough.
Speaking of, just along that same vein, my current captain is Ekatike and my vice captain is Bruno G. And I think that's what we're going to keep into the weekend.
Wow. I hope
he's got the stones. This is why he's so much higher than us.
No, that would be fun though. Like this could be like, if we're talking about this could be it. This moment.
Okay. Why don't we draw straws? We all have Ekatike, Bruno G, and Haaland, and we'll just short straw to see who has to captain Haaland. And
who has to captain Haaland? Give me the short straw.
Loss.
I'll be holding the straws. Definitely not going to rig it at all.
Oh my god.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Dude, honestly, I respect the stones. I want to go there. I was thinking about it earlier in the week, and then now that we've been looking at this, and I've been looking at Man United, just that MUN, I don't know if I can do it. Yeah, I don't think I can.
Where are they for defense? They're 5th and
they're 6th. Yeah, that's
yes,
not bad.
But they were just starting to gain traction and then fired their coach. So I don't see their defense.
It's also why did they gain traction? Because they had the best fixtures of all time, and they still
right. Yeah, I guess you got to take in all these things in context of the fixtures, and if they had an improvement in the last couple of games, it's probably because they played Burnley, Leeds, Wolves. In the last 3.
That'll do it.
They played Wolves twice in the last 6.
Dallo brought us home 5 points over 3 matches, baby. Fire up.
Yeah, fuck. All right, well, good luck to everybody next week. Good luck on the road captaincy sharp. We'll see how it played. We'll be back to talk how it played out after this.